I subscribed to iExamB only. In that, there were five mock tests which I prepared. So in that, detailed analysis was also given, like whatever the mistakes you are doing grammatically, be it contextually, or be it that your data is somewhere wrong. So these things will help you to get understand that whatever the wrong you are doing, so you have to focus more on that.
Just to bring in over here, Sushil sir has done and CP sir also have done various videos related to how one can read newspaper for the exam. So if anybody is getting scared or wondering how to read it in 25 minutes or 30 minutes, you can maybe look at those videos.
And what I did was that iExamB provided me with the schemes documents,
Yes.
the ready-made documents, that whatever the schemes are there, then what is the general overview or what is the latest development in that. So I took the printouts of that, and then whenever I came across any news that covered the particular scheme, then I used to update in the paper itself.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to iExam B. And with me is today RBI Grade B Officer 2024, Akash Mirgane. So, many congratulations, Akash, for clearing the RBI Grade B exam.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
And welcome to our platform. Thanks again for taking time out to talk to us today. And a very interesting journey, Akash ki. Akash is a mechanical engineer. He completed his engineering in 2022 and soon got placed in Bharat Electronics Limited, where he continues to work till date. And his dream was to prepare and crack RBI Grade B exam, which he has done now in his second attempt. So, uh, great journey. He has cleared the exam while working full time. So, congratulations again, Akash, and looking forward to a great discussion today with you.
Thank you, ma'am. The pleasure is mine for this discussion also.
Thank you, Akash. So, Akash, first question would be when you decided to prepare for RBI Grade B exam, what was your approach?
Actually, I started the preparing for RBI Grade B exam in 2023 itself. When means I joined in the Bharat Electronics, and then means I wanted to explore some other exams that it can be cracked and it can better for better opportunities.
Okay.
So I just started with preparing for RBI Grade B from my exam itself. But in 2023, the preparation was not to the level expected level. So I was just missed the prelims cutoff by 1 mark. So I was disappointed a bit, but I stated that means thought that it will be great if I can put in some more efforts and give the exam with full preparation in the next year.
Okay.
So in 2024 also, then I gave it with full preparation, and I was able to get it through the interview stage also.
Okay. Yes, great. So I'll come back, rewind to 2023. जब आपने decide किया, when you decided to actually give this exam, and before you actually started preparing, and उस समय तो आपने बोला था थोड़े non-serious preparation करी थी आपने. So, did you spend time in understanding the exam? आप या कुछ strategy बनाने की आपने कोशिश करी थी तब या फिर in this year?
Actually, in that first year, I was not able to means build up whole strategy. Like I was just कि prelims है तो ठीक है, मतलब इसमें ये sections हैं तो I will just prepare for the prelims. I read once the whole phase 2 syllabus, but I was not good with it to say. But I prepared prelims more. But due to reasoning part, I was not able to clear. So then I realized that my strategy, I need to figure it out that what should be done to get through first, second, and third stage also. So means integrated approach I had to take. Like whatever the means I am reading, then I should be able to utilize this in all the stages, like first, second, and third. So in first stage, you know that it is a like objective setting. So you have to remember facts, figures, and many general awareness questions, and then you require speed in the quant and reasoning part. And also in English, you need to have a quick thinking because you have to read a lot and solve all the questions. So this was my phase one approach. And in the phase two part, means I focused more on the writing part, that I should be able to present my answers more clearly and very means in a neat manner, so that I can be able to impress the examiner. Like he needs to give me marks because I am just presenting my answer. So it was my only way of communicating with him. So this was my phase two part, that I needed to cover vast areas and more with the data points that I can use also. And
Okay.
in the interview, I got 1 month time, around 1 month time, because my interview was late. So I just thought about whatever the possible questions which can be asked to me by the interviewer, and I just kept a notebook about that. That I just wrote a question, then the possible answer to that. So the revising this helped me a lot in my journey.
Okay. So nicely you have summarized all the three stages. I think I'll come back to each stage one by one. And the way you started, I think that's a very very important point, and वो मिस ना हो इसलिए मैं ये दोबारा रिपीट
Mhm.
कर रही हूँ. So आकाश ने स्टार्ट किया था कि there was an integrated approach that he used, or मतलब the approach towards the content has to be integrated. I think it's a very nice way of looking at it, because yes, आपको फेज वन क्लियर करना है, सब्जेक्ट्स अलग हैं, पैटर्न अलग है. यस, यू हैव टू रीच टू फेज टू, अलग पैटर्न है, अलग सब्जेक्ट्स हैं, फिर इंटरव्यू स्टेज है, सॉरी फेज टू स्टेज एंड देन इंटरव्यू स्टेज है. बट आप जो नॉलेज कैरी करते हैं, whatever you are reading, that will help you somewhere or the other in all the three stages. So I think that integrated approach aspect is a very nice thing, especially if you talk about the GA. So phase one, just for the benefit of some of the listeners who may not know, phase one में चार subjects होते हैं, objective nature का होता है. There is quant, reasoning, English, and general awareness. From weightage point of view, general awareness has the highest weightage, while quant and reasoning have a decent weightage, and mostly students find it difficult to crack these aspects many times. English is majority, most students find it easy to crack and score. So that's usually the pattern. And all these four subjects have separate cutoff and overall cutoff. So you have sectional cutoffs and overall cutoff in the RBI paper. So that's just a brief about how the pattern is. So Akash, now to you. So how did you decide all these four subjects? What will your preparation approach was towards this? How much time were you spending, maybe on a daily or weekly basis, depending on your work schedules?
Actually, for in these four parts, there was first of all the English, which was means comparatively easier than the three parts. So I was just looking after the live lectures, which was there by iExamB, and the practice. There are practice sets which are given,
Yeah.
that we have to practice the grammar and the reading comprehension part, and likewise all the topics. Then for this was for the English part. And for the GA part, I was reading daily the newspapers, which were Indian Express and the Hindu,
Okay.
because I can relate much more. The simpler language was there in the Indian Express, so it was better to understand the topic and the editorials which were there.
Okay.
So for the GA part, then I used to visit daily the RBI website also,
Okay.
because there master directions or circulars, various actions which were taken,
Mhm.
then various reports also published by the RBI. So
Mhm.
it was really helpful to get the authentic information from the RBI website.
Okay.
And then also there was PIB website.
Yeah.
Then other ready-made means materials were also available. So this helped me to cover the GA part. So actually, I maintained a book in which I used to write down various means facts or figures which I felt that it can be important for my prelims part of point of view.
Mhm.
So by the analyzing previous year questions also, I got an idea that what may be the questions, possible questions that may be asked. So
True.
I just maintained it. So for last minute revision, it was very handy. So this was
When you were doing this, maintaining a log. and book for yourself?
Means actually when I was going through some news and I felt that this number can be used or can be asked to me in the question. So I was just writing down in my notebook that
It
okay,
was
this.
not like I am preparing GA for last 6 months or last 8 months, anything like that,
Hmm.
or was it just a continuous approach that you were taking?
Some numbers were continuous, like GDP figures or the
Mhm.
inflation figures. So that I kept continuously. But for other parts, like reports or awards or anything miscellaneous, so for that I prepared for the last 6 months.
Okay.
Like if exam is in September, then the last 6 months from then I had to see or go through all the news and carry means revise what is the necessary.
Okay. Okay.
So this was my GA, which was means continuously going on. Then for the quant part, I just
Before you start Quant, I'll ask few more things over here.
mm,
So you said like you read two newspapers, Indian
mm,
Express for a little more easier understanding, and Hindu, I think you were doing for reading editorials
mm,
and for
yes.
Indian aspects and all. So were you reading these daily? So how much time were you able to spend? And you also mentioned that you visited RBI website and PIB
Mm,
website regularly.
yes.
So, how much time were you spending on a daily basis for these activities?
For the newspapers, I would recommend means 25 to 30 minutes. Means you have to find
That's
first of
enough
all you
to
will
able to
find
cover.
what's important for you. That
Mhm.
like news related to RBI, then news related to some kind of reports that are coming, and economic and social issues like that. So if you pick these important newspapers, means news articles, then you will be able to clear it in 25 to 30 minutes, I would suppose.
Mhm.
And for the website also, I used to check for 15 to 20 minutes that whatever the speeches are there or whatever the
Yeah.
means circulars are there. So if I felt that it is important for me, then I used to download them and highlight them in the PDF itself.
Yeah.
So it was means time saving for me instead of taking out notes again and again.
Yeah.
So I just highlighted them. So I guess 15 to 20 minutes in the means RBI PIB and 25 to 30 minutes in newspaper section.
So, approximately an hour daily were you spending
Yes,
to keep
yes,
yourself updated? That's
yes,
great. I think that's very important. And just to bring in over here, Sushil sir has done and CP sir also have done various videos related to how one can read newspaper for the exam. So if anybody is getting scared or wondering how to read it in 25 minutes or 30 minutes, you can maybe look at those videos. We will put it in the description also. Yes, Akash. What about quant and reasoning? You also mentioned in your first attempt, reasoning was a little tricky,
yes,
which
mm,
may have led for non-selection in the first attempt. So,
yes, yes.
how did was it this year, and how did you approach both these subjects?
Yes, for quant actually the questions means look similar, easier, but once you start doing it, no, it becomes a lengthier process. So you are not getting answers, or sometimes you are getting diverted by the information overload. So I used to pick very means easier questions first. Like there are some questions about the quadratic equations, or
Mm-hmm.
there are some questions about inequalities.
Mm-hmm.
Then these questions become easier that you can attempt them first and it will give you confidence, like you solved in some small fraction of time, so it will be easier for you to tackle the next bigger questions. So I guess that was my strategy, and I practiced a lot from iexam also, and whatever the resources are available. So that way I increased my speed in the quant. And for the reasoning also, first of all I was means very fearful about the puzzles part in the reasoning, that they are very lengthy and we are not able to solve it in some means very fastly, so it takes time. So means I was looking for attacking first the questions which were like two or three bunch two or in the bunch of two or three, so they were able to tackle easily. So once these are covered, then I would have means come to the puzzle part. Like whatever the one or two puzzle, I can means sense that it is easier or it can be done very easily. So then I will start solving the puzzle. So this way I was able to cover maximum questions in the reasoning part, and without getting means wasting time on the puzzles part itself.
Okay, I think that's a
Mm.
great approach because that's also very, very good strategy to be able to pick questions where your probability of doing them, attempting them, and
Mm.
clearing them increases. So yes, in quant and reasoning, that really helps because the cutoff on a standalone basis in these sections are not very high. But if you
Mm.
pick up the difficult questions, actually you end up losing all the time and
Mm.
not being able to actually clear it also. So yes,
Yeah.
that's a very, very important approach. And for that, understanding the type of questions through previous year papers, and as Akash mentioned, regular practice, consistent practice will help you to be able to actually identify questions which you can do and which you will not be able to do. And yes, practice in the course in our exam B courses are provided at all different levels, at the chapter level, at section level, at the actually exam mock test level, so that you can practice it multiple times also. So yes, that's I think a very great point, Akash, that you've mentioned. So moving from phase one, when you clear it, focus comes on phase two. Again, phase two, three papers, and one of the paper is actually two papers, two subjects, finance and management. Then you have
Mm.
economic and social issues, and then you have a descriptive English paper. So how do you cover the syllabus, which looks very, very vast, and it can be very overwhelming, and
Mm.
especially if I say in the economics and social issues aspect, it's so ever changing. It's just a dynamic
Yeah.
content. Nothing of it is like, hardly anything is static. Everything else is
Mm.
so dynamic. So what's your approach towards that?
Okay. So, means as you mentioned that in the ESI part, it is mostly dynamic. Like the things keep on changing, the issues keep on changing, and we have to keep updated ourselves that whatever the new data comes in or whatever the new information comes in. So, for starting point, like there are some static parts, like the syllabus is there. So there are some static parts that you need to have concepts clear about. Like this is what is this term called, or what are the different aspects of that. So I think the best time to cover these parts, the static part, is before the prelims itself, the phase 2 phase 1 itself, because 1 or 2 months before, if you can complete the phase 2 syllabus once, like the all the static parts and whatever the concepts are there, so it will be a means great help to you, because we have very less time between the phase 1 and phase 2
Yeah.
exams. So it will be easier to means cover up all the static part beforehand only, so that you are only left with the dynamic part which is there to cover in the ESI part. And for the ESI part, I would like to suggest that whatever the major RBI circulars or master directions are there, then one of the important points is the government schemes which
Mm.
are there. Like there are various government schemes, and if you might be wondering that how many should I be remembering. So there are some flagship schemes which are very really important, and questions are generally expected out of those schemes. So if you can first focus on these schemes, and then the other schemes which are there, then I think it can be a really useful strategy for you to focus correctly. And what I did was that iExamB provided me with the schemes documents,
Yes.
the ready-made documents, that whatever the schemes are there, then what is the general overview or what is the latest development in that. So I took the printouts of that, and then whenever I came across any news that covered the particular scheme, then I used to update in the paper itself. So
Yes.
it saved me a lot of time, just updating another things and all. So the same paper I used to revise again and again, so it came in handy in the last part. Then there were some reports and various indices
And I see. Yes.
that you have to remember, like hunger report or the world development report. So these reports you have to focus mainly on the Indian aspect, that
Mm.
whatever the key points are about the India. So that helps a lot, because last time I remember in the finance and ESI part, so they were just means direct questions in the MCQ part.
Yes.
about the report, that who wrote the report or what is there in the report. So that will help you both in the descriptive part also and the objective part also. So these were mainly my strategies for these two papers.
Yeah, very very valid point actually, because conceptual knowledge अगर आप phase one से पहले clear कर लेते हैं, then you will not be struggling. Otherwise, वो एक time pressure होता है phase one and phase two के बीच में. And if you are struggling with the concepts and basic words, meaning and all, then it can become very very scary and difficult and stressful actually to prepare that time. So yes, before prelims, if you are through with your conceptual understanding of the topics both in ESI and finance and management, it helps you revise very very quickly and add to your dynamic knowledge. I'll repeat a little about the government schemes because they play a very very important role, especially for your ESI paper. A lot of questions come from the schemes. And yes, the important schemes, again, art lies in being able to identify, because it can be an endless list of schemes if you go through different ministries. And that's where we do the hard work and bring it down to 5 6 documents uh, based on different themes rather than just ministries. We categorize them on different themes, because that ways it helps you to remember in which theme, which scheme you can use while writing descriptive answers. So while ministry going wide can be there, but it will be a huge list to keep going through. So those are small things that we you can keep in mind while preparing and remembering, because yes, there will be a lot of things that you will have to remember also. So yeah, Akash, very good points, I think. Um, Moving to the descriptive aspect. So we also have an objective paper. We also have a descriptive paper in ESI, in finance and management, and then we have a descriptive English paper itself. So how much time were you devoting for descriptive writing, and was it before phase two or after phase one? Or before phase one started, or before phase two only you started preparing for the descriptive aspect?
For the means writing part, actually, I was lucky to have means 1 month of leaves for my from my employer. So that in that period, I was able to cover as much as possible about the writing part, because writing practice is very important. You have to write nearly 2,000 words in 1 hour, and that's very difficult because the keyboards are not as much as you have in homes. So you have to press a little means strongly, and you have to type all these answers, and you have to prepare it in your mind first, then you have to write down roughly, and then you have to type it in actual answer sheet. So I think the mocks will help you here, that whatever the mocks which I subscribe to iexamb only. In that there were 5 mock tests which I prepared. So in that detailed analysis was also given, like whatever the mistakes you are doing grammatically, be it contextually, or be it that your data is somewhere wrong. So these things will help you to get understand that whatever the wrong you are doing, so you have to focus more on that, because strong points you will be covering in the exam itself. There is no point in working hard on it. So you have to work hard on the weakest points that you have, like whatever there are, you are not able to fulfill the word limit, or you are exceeding it in some questions, and you are not able to balance the word limit in all the questions. So these are the points which can be doable in the phase 1 to phase 2 period, because you have covered major static part beforehand. So you have to just keep on updating yourself with the dynamic part, and you have to keep on practicing the answer writing.
Okay. So you started practicing answer writing straight after giving the phase one exam, or did you wait for the result to be out and then start?
No, actually, I started preparing for phase 2 after the phase 1 exam itself. I did not wait for the result to come, because I knew I would lose some crucial days in that itself. 10 to 12 days it takes actually.
Yeah,
So it is better to
that's
prepare early.
very important, and that's
Mm.
I like to again repeat over here. That's very important. Those 10 12 days can be game changers for a
Mhm.
lot of people. So
Yes.
more or less, you know how you have done in phase one, and
Mm.
uh, So I would again repeat this and recommend that don't wait, because you have nothing to lose if you prepare for those 10, 12 days. But if you don't and you get through the phase one, then you lose a lot. But if you prepare and you still don't get through, you actually have lost nothing. You are ready for the next attempt.
The
You
phase
just
of cycle.
yes. So I think that's very, very good point. So Akash,
Mm.
moving to the last phase, the third, the integrated aspects, like you said. So what I could notice, whatever you were writing down from newspapers, RBS circulars, that was also helping you in your GA in phase one, your ESI and finance in phase two, both in your objective and descriptive writing.
Yes.
And last, now we move to the interview stage. What was your preparation like for interview?
For the preparation means I was like ki, first of all we have to get to know what are the major areas, like there are some 4 to 5 areas that they asked generally the questions are about. Like first is the functions of RBI, that you have to know RBI in detail, like what are the major functions, what it does, what are these responsibilities, and what are the various departments in RBI. So this will help you to get a very deep idea about RBI. Then the next part is the your previous employer. If you are working somewhere, then you should have the knowledge what you are doing in your previous job role. So it will also help you to means showcase your skills that you have learned over the years, and it can be useful for the RBI. So this is also a major part. Then the educational background.
Mhm.
Like I was from mechanical engineer, so I was expecting some questions, that
Mhm.
some basic questions about the mechanical engineering that you can expect from any interview. Like
Mhm.
if you are mechanical engineer, then you should be able to know the answers about these questions. So this was also the third part of the preparation. Then the overall background, like whatever you are filling in the biodata form, then you should be thorough with that first. Like they may ask you questions anywhere near to this information, and if you are not able to tackle this question, then it might be giving some wrong impression on the panel, that you are not able to means tackle simple questions also. So I think that was the crux. And lastly, the technical aspect, which we have covered from phase one to phase two. So that will also help you along with the interview only.
Okay. So how long was your actual interview?
My actual interview lasted for 30 minutes, 30 minutes, around 30 minutes. And I was lucky that the interview was mostly comprising of technical questions only.
Okay.
So I was able to perform better, I guess, means rather than any HR questions or any other type of questions. So I was able to tackle more the technical questions.
So technical questions related to RBI, or was it related to your job?
Actually, it covered means wide range, that they started from banking system, then they came to RBI, that what are the functions, major functions, then inflation, then they talked about the NPAs of banks, then capital, their profits and provisions. Then then they asked about my means work profile in the Bharat Electronics, and then they asked some questions about it, that inventory management and whatever the related topics were there. So they asked questions about it. Then they were uh, focusing on mainly on the banking aspect. Then some questions were also from the RBI's balance sheet, like if you know what are the assets, what are the liabilities, and you can differentiate between these. So these were the major type of questions which were asked.
Okay, so basically they covered everything from RBI to your background
Mm.
related technical aspects. So great, great. And I am sure this entire preparation had made you confident to be able to tackle all those
Yes.
technical questions. So, Akash, I'm sure you are elated to have cleared the exam this year. And from our side, also wishing you all the best for a very, very successful career. And your insights that you've given today will be very, very useful to the future aspirants who are looking and listening to this video. Anything you would like to tell them? Any mistakes that they should avoid, maybe from your 2 years journey? If you could identify something that this is something that doesn't work or should be avoided, would it be? Would there be any such points?
Actually, I would suggest one point that means whatever the you are studying or whatever you are preparing. So it's better to have your own strategy. Like there are some strong points in you and some weak points of you. Like you have to keep these in mind while preparing. That if you are focusing more on your strong points, then your weak points will means deteriorate your performance. So you have to balance both the things. That keep an eye on strong point, but you have to work hard on weak points also. So I think it is unique to each individual that whatever the strategy they are preparing, and if they can devise such strategy and stick to it like consistently, then I guess they will be surely succeeding in their journey, whatever they are undertaken.
Yes, very well summarized, Akash, and very true. While we can get inspired and get ideas from all the different people's individuals, strategies, and all, ultimately everybody will have their own unique strategy that works best for their profile and circumstances of preparation. So that is there. And getting the right strategy, consistently working towards it, and there will be hard work. There will be no shortcuts to hard work, but yes, with a dedicated and consistent and strategic approach towards that hard work, your hard work will definitely reap fruits. So with that, we close for today's session, and thank you so much again, Akash, and wishing you all the best.
Thank you, ma'am.